Hello and welcome. Today we are talking about something very important that could affect millions of people who rely on Social Security, especially those receiving SSI and SSDI. There has been a lot of discussion recently about new economic policies and new government priorities, and now the Social Security Administration is studying a possible new benefit option connected to these changes. Many seniors and people with disabilities are asking the same question. Could this lead to more financial support, and what should we be watching for in the coming months? In this video, I will explain what is happening, why it matters, and what it could realistically mean for your monthly income, using clear and simple language so everyone can understand. First, let's talk about what SSI and SSDI are, because even though many people receive these benefits, the rules behind them can feel confusing. SSI, which stands for Supplemental Security Income, is a needs-based program. It is meant to help older adults and people with disabilities who have very limited income and savings. The amount you receive depends on your living situation, your other income, and whether your state adds extra support on top of the federal payment. SSDI, which stands for Social Security Disability Insurance, is different. It is based on your work history and the Social Security taxes you paid while working. If you become disabled and cannot work, SSDI replaces part of your lost income. Both programs are managed by the Social Security Administration, but they follow different rules and are funded in different ways. Now let's talk about why there is new attention on these programs right now. Recently, there has been a strong economic push focused on boosting domestic production, changing trade policies, and encouraging companies to invest more inside the United States. Supporters of these policies say they are meant to strengthen the economy, create jobs, and increase government revenue over time. When government revenue changes, lawmakers often start talking about how that money should be used, including whether some of it should go towards social programs like Social Security, disability benefits, and help for low-income seniors. This is where the current discussion begins. According to recent statements and internal reviews, the Social Security Administration is studying whether certain policy changes could allow new benefit options or adjustments for people receiving SSI and SSDI. This does not mean that new payments are already approved or that everyone will automatically receive more money. What it means is that officials are reviewing data, budgets, and program rules to see what changes could be possible if lawmakers decide to move in that direction. This kind of review process often happens before any major reform, and it can take months or even longer before clear decisions are made. Many people are wondering if this could turn into some kind of stimulus-style support for seniors and disabled individuals. It is important to be careful with that idea. Traditional stimulus checks usually come from special emergency laws passed by Congress, and they are not part of the regular Social Security system. What is being discussed now is not exactly a stimulus check, but rather possible adjustments within existing benefit programs. That could mean higher monthly payments, changes in how income is counted, or new support options for people who are struggling the most. At this stage, nothing is final, but the fact that these options are being studied is something worth paying attention to. One area that is getting a lot of attention is how inflation has affected people on fixed incomes. Even when Social Security gets cost of living increases, many seniors and disabled individuals still feel like their money does not stretch as far as it used to. Rent, food, utilities, and medical costs have all gone up, and for people living on SSI especially, even small increases in expenses can create serious hardship. Some policy experts are suggesting that the current SSI payment levels no longer reflect real-world living costs, and that changes are needed to prevent more seniors from falling into poverty. Another issue being studied is how strict income and asset limits affect SSI recipients. Right now, if you save even a small amount of money, you could risk losing your benefits. This makes it very hard for people to build any kind of financial cushion for emergencies. Some proposals suggest raising these limits so people are not punished for trying to save a little money. While this does not increase monthly checks directly, it could improve financial stability and reduce stress for many recipients. For SSDI recipients, the focus is slightly different. Many people on SSDI worry about earning even small amounts of extra income because they fear losing their benefits. Some policy discussions are looking at ways to encourage limited work without immediately cutting off support, especially for people whose conditions may improve slightly, but not enough to fully return to full-time employment. Changes like this could help people feel more secure while they test their ability to work again without risking total financial loss. Now, it is very important to understand that the Social Security Administration itself does not create these laws. The SSA can study programs, provide data, and suggest improvements, but major changes must be approved by Congress and signed into law by the president. That means politics always plays a role in how fast or how far these reforms can go. Economic policies, government budgets, and political priorities all affect whether new benefit options actually become reality. You may hear a lot of bold headlines online saying that huge payments are coming or that new checks are guaranteed. Please be careful with those claims. Until Congress passes a law and the SSA officially announces changes, nothing is guaranteed. That said, staying informed is very important because real changes often start with quiet studies and policy discussions long before official announcements are made. So what should you be doing right now? First, make sure your personal information with Social Security is up to date, including your address, bank details, and income reports if you are required to report changes. If new benefit options or adjustments are introduced, the SSA will use this information to determine eligibility and send payments correctly. Second, keep records of your medical conditions, work history, and financial situation, especially if you receive SSI or SSDI. Clear documentation can help if any reviews or reevaluations happen in the future. It is also a good idea to pay attention to official notices from Social Security, especially letters about reviews, income checks, or eligibility updates. Many people miss important deadlines simply because they did not open or understand official mail. If you are ever unsure about a letter you receive, try to get help from a trusted family member or a local benefits counselor who can explain what it means. At this point, the main message is that something is being studied, not that something has already changed. The economic push has created new conversations about how government funds are used, and Social Security programs are part of that conversation. Whether this leads to higher payments, more flexible rules, or new forms of support depends on future decisions that have not yet been made. Now let's talk about what kinds of changes are most realistic when it comes to Social Security benefits, and especially SSI and SSDI. In the past, when adjustments were made, they usually happened in a few main ways. Sometimes monthly payment amounts were increased through cost of living adjustments or special legislative increases. Sometimes the rules about income, savings, or eligibility were updated, and sometimes new pilot programs were created to test different support methods before expanding them nationwide. If new benefit options are introduced after the current studies, they will most likely follow one or more of these paths. If lawmakers decide that more financial help is needed for low-income seniors and disabled individuals, one option could be raising the federal SSI payment level. This would directly increase monthly income for people who qualify. However, this kind of change requires budget approval, and it can be politically challenging because it affects long-term government spending. Even when there is agreement that people need more help, debates often happen about how to fund those increases. Another possible change could involve adjusting how income is counted for SSI. Right now, even small amounts of extra help from family or small earnings can reduce your benefit. If these rules are relaxed, people could keep more of their benefit while also receiving modest additional support. This would not necessarily cost as much as raising base payments, but it could greatly improve quality of life for many people. For SSDI recipients, one realistic change could involve expanding work incentive programs. The goal would be to let people earn more without immediately losing their disability status. This is important because many disabilities are not perfectly stable. Some people can work part-time or occasionally, but not enough to fully support themselves. A more flexible system could reduce fear and help people feel less trapped. Some people ask whether a one-time bonus or special payment could be added to SSI or SSDI as a form of relief. While this is not impossible, it is less common within the Social Security system itself. One-time payments usually come through separate emergency legislation, not through regular benefit programs. If economic conditions become difficult for a large part of the population, Congress could pass relief laws that include seniors and disabled individuals, but that would be a separate process from routine Social Security adjustments. Now let's talk about timing, because this is where many people become frustrated. Social Security changes do not happen quickly. First, studies are conducted and reports are prepared. Then, lawmakers review proposals, hold hearings, and debate funding. After that, bills must pass both houses of Congress and be signed into law. Even after a law is passed, the SSA needs time to update systems, train staff, and send out official notices. From start to finish, this process can easily take a year or more. This is why it is important not to make financial decisions based on rumors of future payments. Do not take on new debt or delay important expenses because you heard that more money might be coming. Until changes are officially announced, your best plan is to budget based on what you currently receive and look for any existing assistance programs you may already qualify for, such as help with utilities, food, or medical costs through local or state programs. Another serious issue right now is misinformation. Many seniors are targeted by misleading videos, messages, and even phone calls, claiming that new benefits are already approved and asking for personal information. The Social Security Administration will never call you out of the blue asking for your full Social Security number, bank details, or payment to release benefits. Any real changes will be announced through official letters and well-known public channels. If someone pressures you to act quickly or says you will lose money unless you respond immediately, that is a strong warning sign of a scam. To protect yourself, only trust information that comes directly from Social Security or from well-known, reliable news sources that clearly explain what has been officially approved. Talk with family members before sharing personal details or clicking on messages that promise extra money. Scammers often use emotional language and urgent claims to create panic, so staying calm and checking information carefully is very important. Even while waiting for possible reforms, there are things you can do to improve your financial stability right now. Make sure you are receiving all the benefits you already qualify for. Some people who receive SSDI may also qualify for Medicare, and some people on SSI may qualify for Medicaid and additional state assistance. These programs can significantly reduce medical and living expenses, even if they do not increase cash income. If your medical condition has worsened or your financial situation has changed, it may be worth reporting this to Social Security because it could affect your benefit amount or eligibility for additional programs. While dealing with paperwork can feel stressful, keeping your records accurate helps prevent problems later and can sometimes lead to increased support. It is also helpful to stay connected with community resources. Many local organizations offer help with food, transportation, housing counseling, and prescription costs. These supports can make a real difference, especially when budgets are tight. Even if national policies take time to change, local help can provide relief sooner. Looking ahead, the fact that benefit options are being studied is a sign that decision makers recognize ongoing financial pressure on seniors and disabled individuals. Economic policies do not exist in isolation. When governments try to reshape the economy, they also have to consider how those changes affect people who are not in the workforce or who cannot easily increase their income. That is why programs like SSI and SSDI are always part of long-term policy discussions. However, it is also realistic to say that no single policy change will solve every problem. Many seniors face challenges related to healthcare, housing, and daily living costs that go beyond monthly benefit amounts. Future reforms may help in some areas, but not others. That is why staying informed and engaged is important, not just for your own situation, but for helping family members and friends who may also be affected. As we move forward, watch for official updates from Social Security about studies, pilot programs, or proposed rule changes. These early notices often signal where things may be headed, even before final decisions are made. If and when new benefit options are approved, you will want to understand how they work, who qualifies, and what steps you need to take to receive them. To close, today we talked about how the Social Security Administration is studying possible new benefit options for SSI and SSDI in response to broader economic changes and policy priorities. Throughout all of this, patience is difficult but necessary. Social Security reforms move slowly because mistakes can affect millions of lives. While that can be frustrating when you need help right now, it also means that changes are usually carefully reviewed before being implemented. Your financial safety depends on that careful approach, even if it means waiting longer for improvements. As we come to the end of this discussion, let's review what we have covered in simple terms. The Social Security Administration is studying possible new benefit options for SSI and SSDI as part of broader economic discussions. These studies do not guarantee immediate changes, but they signal that financial challenges faced by seniors and people with disabilities are being seriously examined. Possible future changes could involve higher payments, more flexible rules, or new support programs, but all of these require approval by Congress and time to implement. Right now, the most important actions you can take are to stay informed through reliable sources, keep your personal and medical information up to date with Social Security, and protect yourself from scams and false promises. At the same time, look into local and state programs that can help with daily expenses because those supports can improve your quality of life, even if federal benefits remain the same for now. Your benefits are not just numbers on a page, they represent stability, independence, and peace of mind. Staying aware of policy discussions helps you protect those benefits and prepare for future opportunities if new support becomes available. Even when the system feels complicated, your right to clear information and fair treatment remains important. Thank you for staying with me through this entire update. By watching closely, asking questions, and staying informed, you are taking an active role in protecting your financial future. Changes may come slowly, but understanding what is happening and why it matters puts you in a stronger position. Keep paying attention to official updates, take care of your health and finances as best you can, and remember that knowledge is one of the strongest tools you have to secure your future and your peace of mind.